Welcome to the podcast known as Clear Blue Radiance. And I'm your host, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. Usually we're on every Thursday at about 1 p.m., but I was running a little late today. So I'm on at this time and just wanted to uh, be able to come on and share some insight briefly with all of you today. I've been a spiritual counselor for over 40 plus years. That's a long time. So, however, I'm glad to be here today. It is Thursday, November the 3rd, 2022, fresh back from my vacation. And today's topic is You are so much better today than whatever you thought about yourself yesterday. Now, this is an interesting topic that I chose because all of us, at some point in our life, we don't always think too highly of ourselves. We don't give ourselves, as they say, the benefit of the doubt that we can be much better and do much better. And so, what we need to be able to do is allow ourselves uh, to be able to see ourselves in a much better light. Now, this is important for our well being. Why? Because if we don't start seeing ourselves in a better light, the world around us will choose a light for us to be in. And this is so much happening all the time. So, what you want to be able to do is have control over your world, your current life. And when you start to do that, then you will notice that things are moving a lot better for you. And so I just want to put in today's title briefly so that it's here. Feel free to interact with me whenever you are ready to do so. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me those questions as I am interacting with you. Well, here's something we need to be fully aware of. And one of the things we need to be fully aware of is this. And let me get one of these reflective lights out of my eyesight here. Let me see if I can change it a little bit, tone it down. Oh, I still look like I got four sets of eyes. So anyway, one of the things you want to be aware of, and this is very, very important for your well-being. And maybe I'll take these glasses off. Maybe that's putting a little too much light here so that you don't really see my face. Now we'll put this back on. There you go. So one of the things you want to be more aware of is, in order for you to feel much better about yourself, there are a few things you need to know. Now, again, I'm a spiritual counselor. I've been doing this for 40 plus years. I'm a meditation instructor as well. I'm one of the practitioners affiliated with Resonant Essentials and the owner, Michelle Vidal. So, one of these things you want to be aware of is, as a spiritual counselor, I really enjoy helping people like yourself have greater clarity in your own life and discover or redefine your purpose, because our purpose changes as we grow. As we grow more spiritually aware, as our remembrances get clear about who we are, why we're here, why we're living the kind of life that we're living, and so on and so forth, and the kind of people that we attract into our lives. So many times we're unaware that we're actually doing that. And we may not understand that sometimes we seem to attract people by default, meaning that we just let our thoughts wander, we let our feelings wander as well. And then whichever the universe feels the greatest, which is not the thoughts, but the feelings, the emotional energy, the emotional frequency in our words. When it feels that and one outweighs the other, like they used to say, Anubis, known as Ampu in the ancient time of ancient Kemet, which was Egypt. His job was outweighing the mind against a feather or the heart against a feather. And if the heart was heavy and the feather was light, well, you're out of here, but you're not going into the zone of positivity. But if the feather weighed more than your heart, that means there's nothing that you're holding on to, right? No negative thought processes, low self esteem, negative thinking, negative feelings. Then your heart is light as a feather or lighter than a feather. Therefore, it's like you are ascending your consciousness, ascending your awareness into higher frequencies. I always used to say that my creative path work meditation series that I teach is a way of creating and maintaining higher realities. Because that's what we really want. We want to live a higher existence. And so here's something that we need to know. We need to have what? Self-love. We need to have self confidence. We need to have a trust in our faith, in ourself, and then become self empowered. So we need self love, self confidence, trust in our faith of who we are. Once we understand who we are, then we become what? Self empowered. And those four things are going to uplift us. But self love is very important. Love is the opposite of fear in that sense. And if you don't love yourself more, you can't expect someone else to love you. If you don't have respect for yourself, then you can't expect other people to have that for you. So that becomes a situation, right? You start wondering, like, well, what's the deal here? What is it do I need to do so I can feel better and better about myself? What is it that I need to begin to realize in order to see a better me? So when you begin to adjust yourself, you begin to adjust your frequency, you begin to look at things and feel things and understand who you are. Before you could do any of that, you have to love yourself more. And you got to feel that energy of self love. It just can't be you thinking about it. The late Reverend Ike used to say, let the feeling get the blessing. That makes a lot of sense. Think of it this way: there's something that you want to acquire in your life, but due to past experiences, to past in the way that you used to think about yourself, where you didn't feel that you deserved that very thing that you desired to have. And you thought about it a lot, but because you were busy thinking, the feeling side got in there, how you actually felt. And your feeling gets the blessing because that's the way you truly feel about what you're thinking. So let's say you're working someplace, you want a raise, you need a promotion, and you're thinking, if I had that promotion, I'd have more money. Yeah, I might have more responsibilities on my job, but I have more money to work with. But let's get in touch with what you're feeling. You might feel the exact opposite of that. Maybe there's a part of you that's planted deep inside yourself that actually says, well, I don't feel that. I feel like I should be doing something that creates peace and harmony and happiness for myself. What would that be, though? So you would have to literally question yourself to try to get an understanding about yourself and to try to figure out, well, why? Why are you thinking one way and feeling another? See, that's the situation at hand. What are you willing to do to change your own mindset? I remember I used to be a part of multi-level marketing groups back east, and everybody would use what they call the emotional words. Emotional word like massive. That's that's not a thought thinking process word. That's an emotional word. What? It's an adjective. So you got to take action. You have to act on something, which is a verb. Taking action is a noun, right? And now you need an adjective. Massive. Not just positive, but massive, meaning stronger approach. Well, it's the same here. In order for you to feel better today, you would have to take some type of massive thought process pumped up with a lot of emotional juice that's very positive for you in order for you to feel that you're going to attain the goal, that you're going to actually achieve it. So you might start to think and then realize, well, I'm going to start. How can I stop these thoughts of worry, anxiety, doubt, fear, anger, self anger, low self esteem? How do I do that? You got to love yourself, but you have to love yourself unconditionally, which means you've got to look at what they call the shadow side. And you got to take that shadow side, deal with that shadow side. That's the side of you that people don't see in the public eye. That's the side that you got to work on. Now, as you begin to work on it and peel its various layers back to its original core of why it became shadowy and hidden and seemed and appeared to have more power over you than your higher self. But once you understand the core issue, and usually dates back some time ago when you are a child, where you may have had an older person around you begin to complain about who you are because you weren't able to fulfill something that they were doing. Many people lived with parents who were high achievers, but behind closed doors, those parents were loaded with aggravation, loaded with anger. They had low self esteem. They may have become the child's bully instead of the child's parent. A child may have had to become an adult while mom and dad is out working, or maybe mom and dad split and mom is working. Mom is the mom and the dad. So now she's working two or three jobs to hold down the flat, the apartment, wherever you're living at. And yet she turned around to you, the oldest child, and says, make sure they do their homework, make sure you do your homework, their homework, feed them and feed yourself and watch them, bathe them, prepare them for bed, get them up in the morning and ready for school. Now that child becomes an adult, taking on all of that weight, trying to think like a parent. Even though mom may have laid something out or dad may have laid out the steps, the child still had to become like an adult, totally responsible. Well, that took away their joy. They didn't have a childhood. They couldn't talk over the phone too much. They couldn't lean their head out the window and talk to their friends. They couldn't step outside and sit on the step and talk with their friends. Why? Because they had younger siblings they had to take care of, plus a cat and a dog in there somewhere. So all these things were creating unnecessary change. And that unnecessary change became a weight, a yoke around the child's neck, which later became a huge albatross, a huge weight for the adult to carry around that didn't even belong to them. So you had to learn how to love yourself through all of that. You had to learn how to develop self confidence so you don't fear anything. You're going to have a certain degree of fear embedded in you somewhere, but for the most part, you're going to have confidence to face that fear. You're going to confide in yourself. That's why the next word is trust. You have to rely on yourself. You got to trust in yourself, that your faith in yourself is pure, strong, and deeply rooted in something that is far more expansive than you can imagine, that is much greater and stronger than you are mentally, emotionally, and physically, and materially, where you had to develop an antenna so you can sense whatever's going on around you. And then what? Then you had to have power from within. So you develop this strength of character, this personality inside yourself. You took the weakest parts and began to fine tune them, shave them, polish them, and make those weak points now become positive, strong points and begin to radiate an impression into the world around you, into your auric field, into your neighborhood, into your house, into your school, your job, your social locations, and relatives. You had to take it upon yourself to change the way you think and also change the way you feel about what you're thinking, because that's what this is really about. In order for you to get better, in order for me to get better, I use myself as the example. In order for me to get better, I have to change my mental outlook, and I also have to change how I feel about the outlook. Because if they're not interlaced together, if they're not on the same page, no matter what I'm acquiring, no matter what I'm desiring to have, it's not going to materialize. I can work hundreds of hours, but it won't be there. Why? Because the emotional, the inner man doesn't feel it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your inner part of you, your internal woman, your internal man has to have it already. Our thoughts, words, intentions, and actions carry energy within them. Do you know that your heart, your physical heart, radiates more electromagnetic energy than your brain, your heart? You must feel the energy in them as you use them. So let's say you're going to go out and get a blue car. Well, you want to know what kind of blue car: navy blue car, teal blue car, turquoise blue car. You got to get it, the image in your mind in detailed format. Then you've got to affirm that that thing exists. That very car exists for you in that color. Maybe you're going out, if you're a woman going out to buy a beautiful dress you want, or a beautiful slacks business outfit. You got to see it, but you got to feel it as well. And if you start feeling it more than you are seeing it, you are then become sensitive to it, and then it starts to pull in your direction, and you're being pulled in its direction. You have to come to a point where you understand yourself, where you get excited about yourself. You start to understand that, okay, everything's going to be okay. I don't have to worry about anything. Things are going to be fine. Why? Because the feeling is in there. The feeling is the accumulated energy in there of every word, thought every sentence you speak is loaded with energy. And it is the same energy of stardust energy, as they say, that's in the galaxy that's also in you. And therefore, you speak a trail of that stuff at any given moment. This means that you must change your personal outlook, change your levels of personal energy. You got to get clear with your mental and emotional body to experience results. And whatever you think and feel must match. They must be on the same vibe, the same frequency. They must be able to interlock comfortably. That's what is so important when we're using words. Words, when we put certain tonal inflections in the words, things begin to what? Change. You begin to have a stronger belief, but you're beyond belief. You're stepping into the realm of faith, and faith is what you know to be true. So if you're going to use an affirmation, people say affirmations don't work. They don't work for that person because that person doesn't have a belief that they work, and they have no structural foundation in which to work with so they can see it work. See, the affirmation is a seed that you're replanting back into yourself. You're not necessarily planting it into the world, because you have to understand that if you can understand that you and the world's energy are interlaced comfortably, not at odds with each other, then hey, we used to say back east, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see that thing that you desired for months, that you wished for months, that you looked at in a newspaper or magazine for months, or you went down to the store and you just tried on that dress, you tried on that pants outfit. Men tried on the suits and the hats and the shoes, you name it. But why did you do that? Because you needed to pour yourself in, pour yourself into that which you want. You had to step beyond believing in it to knowing it. And the way you could do the knowing part is to go back in your mind when you did something that was highly successful and it was very positive, and transfer that energy into the current situation. Because if you could transfer that past energy of success and emotional excitement and mental clarity into the current moment, the energy, the direction shall flow properly before you, and it will begin to open up its arms and attract in all that is good for you. Why? Because it matches your frequency. It matches your frequency. Affirmations used as a decree can change your current reality about yourself. Affirmations work only if you use them. So some people say, well, affirmations don't work. Well, you're not using an affirmation. That's why it doesn't work. You already have set in your mindset is that affirmations don't work, and you convince yourself to freely believe in that. So therefore, when you speak the affirmation, wait 72 hours or 36 hours or 48 hours, you don't see anything happening. Why? Because you already decided that it wasn't going to happen. You decided that it wasn't going to happen to you or for you. And you got to be able to put that ego part of you just aside. Affirmations used as decrees can change your current reality about yourself. Why? Because when you state a decree, you don't have any doubt in your mind, no doubt, residual energy of doubt in your body. All you can feel is pure excitement in your body. Therefore, you're going to trust in what? Your faith in who you are, who you understand yourself to be, not what the world understands who you are, you. Decrees work when you say them. All three must have a frequency of energy. An affirmation, an affirmative prayer is the second that I didn't mention, but in affirmative prayer, you take the outcome, the final outcome, and you put the stamp of approval of the divine I am presence into that thought, that image, that sound, those words. And you did what? Because you kind of pushed your ego aside, you were able to saddle up with the desire of what you desire to have and see go on in your own life. That's the cool thing about this process. So here are some living examples before I sign out. Affirmation is a truth you speak about yourself that is already true. Let me repeat that again. An affirmation is a truth you speak in reference or to about yourself that is already true. Now, here's something else. A decree is speaking that same affirmation with conviction this time and without reservation, doubt, or fear, too much thinking. Get that too much thinking out of your mind. Your ego cannot be in the way at all. You've got to pan the room and see where your I am presence is. Is it outside of you or do you feel it on the inside? If you know that your I am presence extends itself from the inside to the outside into your auric field and mixes it up like a bartender, and everybody that sips on your energy, everybody that engages in your energy, they can't get enough of it. So they engage and sip into it more, inhale it more. Why? Because they understand that whatever you're doing is working for you. So one day it's got to work for them. So here are some short affirmations with a decree that follows it. I affirm I am a loving person and I know I deserve to be loved. Now, you can't say it where you're tired. You have to say it where you're upbeat and certainly assured that what you're stating has already happened. So I affirm I am a loving person. And I know I deserve to be loved because all people that I interact with, whether it's my work, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's new acquaintances, in any event, it's going to what materialize itself. I affirm, you see, I am a loving person and I know I deserve to be loved. I decree that I attract loving people into my life because I radiate it freely. You must radiate the fullness of who you are in order to receive. When you do that, things begin to open up, they begin to increase. Whatever was coming to you that was slowing down, a door has been opened and you can receive. That's important. Here's another one. I affirm that I have an absolute truth. I affirm that this absolute truth is a trust, is faith, and confidence in myself. Now, if you put that into a decree, it sounds more like this. I decree that I may trust and know and understand that I can trust myself. I can trust myself because I got excellent to good, good to excellent self esteem and confidence is the absolute faith that's living in me now. That's important. A little warm in here. Almost feel like I'm falling asleep. Let me get a little water. Ah, that's refreshing. So here it is. You have to understand this, that behind every word, there is energy mixed into it. Behind every word, behind every image that you see around you, every opportunity that's drawn into your life, and even those that you release out of your life, is embedded with energy. If there's no energy behind it, it's not going to fully materialize or crystallize into your life. And you have to realize with absolute faith that what you're looking at, what you're about to do, what you're planning to do is going to happen, which means you must expect it to happen. You can't expect it not to happen. You have to expect it to happen. If you expect it to happen, it's going to happen. Why? Because you're looking and expecting it to show up. So you're going to do whatever you need to do to get out of your own way so it can show up. I decree that whatever I feel about myself is my truth of who I am. See, that decree is packed and charged with energy. I decree that whatever I feel, not what someone else feels, but what you feel about yourself is your truth of who you are. That's the bottom line. These words, I am, in capital letters, I am, are the truth energy flowing through you right now. I am. Just ingest it into your space. I am. Begin to feel it in the palms of your hands, riding up into your elbows and beyond into your shoulder and back down into the resource center, the lower dantian, that point that is in by about an inch or two and underneath the belly button by about 2 inches. When you believe solely in what you are saying, when you know that you're coming from a place of self love, unconditional love, and grace, and compassion, and understanding, when you know you have all of that working on your behalf, then all shall come to you. So you have to be able to see yourself in a state of total happiness. You have to be able to see yourself, embrace yourself, and enjoy the beauty of yourself. You must allow yourself to take a look at the shadow self, the part that's hiding in the closet, and get to know it. Why? Because when you get to know your shadow self, it will let go of whatever it's been holding on to and begin to dissolve completely into a new environment. So it's very important for all of us not just to use words, but understand the meaning of the word and the what emotional impact that's in the word, that's in the image, that's in the action, in the deed, in the thought, even in the dream. You must begin to accept a new reality about yourself. And if you find a reality about yourself that's going backwards, release it and let it go. Thank it for waking you up to a better you. Don't worry about your future, because your future can be what? Upheld so that you never experience it. That's why everything and every living thing and every body of man, woman, woman, man, or child comes to the conclusion that is in a vast opening. The universe is vast, right? We see beyond and beyond our current horizon. The same thing has to happen. When you say an affirmation, it has to be believable to you. And because it's so believable to you and that you expect it to happen, you can cause other people to expect it to happen for you. Why? Because everything is connected. Everything gives off an electromagnetic frequencies. These halo lamp lights do it. The water of life itself does it. It's contained in glass. But guess what? It's bubbles fizzing. So you have to prepare yourself to be better. Prepare yourself to understand your direction in life. Prepare yourself to be in control of yourself and feel more what? Self empowerment. And when you do that, all shall be well, all shall be well, all shall be well. So here's a few announcements. If you want to know more about www.resonantessentials.com, that's resonantessentials.com, you need to type it into your browser. When you get over there, click on practitioners, and you'll read about the different practitioners associated with Resonant Essentials. Or so you've got to check for events. There's an event link, opens up, it shows you a calendar of the month, a given month that you're in. It's going to show you events and where certain classes are so you can understand it. We're living in a time where change is happening, even in the minutest moment. Change is happening in a very subtle way. You don't even feel it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it, but you sense it's all around you. Change. And when you do that, then you can begin to thoroughly embrace yourself, thoroughly trust and understand yourself better. You become this better person because you can. So join me with this brief meditation where you see yourself dusting off old thoughts, attitudes, and ideas, old ways you used to do things. And act as though you're putting on a robe of light or a bomber jacket of light, but you're putting on these clothes that are overflowing with light, and all you are hearing is I am, I am, I am, I am, I am, and I am. You're just hearing those thoughts fade into the distance and then get louder and then fade back into the distance. What's going on here is the frequency that's building up. You trust in who you are emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, metaphysically, if you want. Whatever you say that you are, you shall become. So, all I'm going to say to you, until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing. As we're alive and well in the age of remembrance, my grace is your grace. And again, go to the website www.resonant, RESONANT, essentials.com and click on practitioners. Go in there and read about the different practitioners directly associated with Resonant Essentials. Go and click on events, and a calendar, current calendar opens up, and it shows you what's going on or what is not happening. Resident Essentials located at 3107 Eubank Boulevard Northeast, and I understand it's the Northeast Heights. It's just above Candelaria Boulevard that runs east and west. So Eubank runs north and south. The entrance at 3107 is opposite the Silver Lanes bowling alley. That's how you're gonna know. You make a right turn, there's Nashville Chicken inside that parking lot, and the field begins to open up. And the first building you come to that says Resident Essentials, you're gonna walk through the door, the black door with the number 34. So hey, start looking into these things. Start getting to know the practitioners. Do you know that every first Sunday, every second Sunday once a month. Every second Sunday once a month, there's a psychic and healing fair, free admission. Walk in the door 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. and participate, bathe in all the energy that you can there. That's important. Or just come on down and meet us. I'm one of the preferred business partners. You'll see myself there, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. You will see Barbara Porcelain. She's an excellent business coach. You'll read about her. You'll read about Nicole Phillip, Bruton Phillip. You read about the work that she does with Intuitive Compass. There's so much that's going on. I'm excited. I hope you get excited. I hope to see you soon at Resident Essentials. Come in on Saturdays from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. for a minimal fee to take a 1 hour creative pathwork meditation series class with me. I hope to see you soon. Michelle Vidal hopes to see you soon. We all hope to see you soon at Resident Essentials. My grace is your grace. See you next Thursday at 1 or 1:30 p.m. for another exciting podcast for Clear Blue Radiance. Take care.